Number 1. Nissan River. Halmstad wouldn't be the same without the broad and beautiful Nissan River, which empties into the north not far south. The river is the boundary between the old city on the west bank and the newer quarters on the east, where factories and workers' cottages have disappeared in favor of bold glass apartment buildings and offices. Number 2. Galdberget. Set on a hill, the park has rather grim origins, as it was the location for Halmstad's gallows until the 19th century. But in the middle of the 1800s, beech trees were planted on the hill and a viewing tower was placed at the highest point in 1897. This 13-meter building is a kind of folly, designed like a romantic castle with a viewing platform open in summer. Number 3. Hallandsgarden. On the south side of Galdberget is a small outdoor museum, created in 1925. A dozen historic buildings from around the Halland province were moved here piece by piece. There's a pleasing view of the city up here in what feels like a bucolic little hamlet made up of a farmhouse, windmill, sawmill, summer cottage, traditional sauna, schoolhouse, and more. Number 4. Tylösand Strand. When the beach fills up in summer, the north end is calm and family-friendly, while the livelier southern end is more for teenagers and 20-somethings. Around the southernmost point there's a small resort, clustered around a cove known as Tjuvahalen, Thieves' Hole. This was a hotbed for smugglers right up to the end of the 19th century, and the beach here has still waters out of the wind and North Sea currents. Number 5. Mjällby Art Museum. This was a circle of artists working in Cubism and Surrealism in the 1920s and 30s, mostly living and painting in Halmstad-Sondrum area. The museum was established in 1980 by a daughter of one of the members, and stages ever-changing exhibitions about the group. There are also temporary exhibitions for contemporary Swedish and international art, and kids are never left out as there's a workshop at the gallery where they can play and be creative. Number 6. Halmstad Castle. It was intended as a residence for King Christian IV, and instead of being a defensive building it was somewhere for the king to relax and enjoy himself. The building has gone through a few changes over time, like in the 18th century when it was given its current mansard roof. But the basic layout is exactly as it was when it was built, and the same goes for the slender, copper-coated tower. Number 7. Storgatan. Between Stora Torg and Norre Port, this north to south street deserves a detour, especially on the pedestrianized northern end. On this part Storgatan has shops, restaurants, pubs and cafes, and a line of covered terraces running up the middle of the street. At the upper end, Norre Port is one of the few remaining city gates in Sweden. Number 8. Stora Torg. This square at the southern end of Storgatan's pedestrian zone is the largest in the city and is also integral to daily life, hosting a regular market. There's a branch of the Swedish department store lanes on the northwest corner, and if you're feeling peckish, all manner of food trucks are allowed to sell their fare on the square. Sweden's beloved 20th century sculptor, Carl Milles, designed the Europa och Djuren, Europe and the Bull, fountain in the 1920s. Number 9. Sankt Nikolai Kirke. On the south side of Stora Torg is one of Halmstad's last medieval buildings, as this church survived the fire that took out most of the city in 1619. It was first mentioned in 1432, but could be up to a century older than that. The yellow brick facade is from a restoration in the 1870s, while the interior was reworked in the 1930s and 40s. In here, see the dominant circular brick columns, which were a trademark of Danish Renaissance churches and date to the 1500s. Number 10. Halmstad Stadsbibliotek. And if your idea of a perfect afternoon is spent buried in the pages of a good book, you could do a lot worse than the modern city library. This glass and metal construction is hard to miss, jutting out from the east bank of the river between Kapsilperen and Filtparken. There are English-language titles, magazines and newspapers, and even couches if you want somewhere to take a load off for a while. Hope you like this video. For more videos, please subscribe to our channel.